Hello everyone, welcome back to RetroComs. As you can see here, there are a lot of phones in front of me today. The reason for this is, one, I recently had a trade with another YouTuber and collector. You can check his channel out, Tony's Phone Collection. We've done a trade in the past. I meant to film this earlier, and I tried to film the phones that I had gotten from him, but somehow I lost those recordings. I'm not sure how that happened, but here we are. Secondly, I recently purchased not one, but two lots of phones. This one is from Akari, and I've got a few of the phones that came from it put in a separate location. I've got them held off for another trade that I'm planning. And these from eBay. Now, since I got these first, let's start with them. First off, this huge stack of Motorola Razr 2 V8s. I know you guys are curious about those. You saw them first, probably. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 Motorola Razr 2 V8s. Love the Razr 2 V8. I did not have one until then, but now I have 8. But sadly, even though I have 8 of them, I have 0 batteries to test them. So I'm going to have to either order or locate a battery that will fit in these phones. Next over here we have 2 of these Samsungs. I forget their model number, but similar to that LG, I think it was the CU500, her camera can rotate to take pictures both acting as a rear camera and as a front camera. We didn't need little notches or cutouts back in those days. We had innovation like this. And similarly, I know I'm jumping ahead in the line, but there is this Samsung Flip Shot. And with this, the camera does not rotate, but the screen does, to act as a viewfinder. Here we have a couple more Samsung flip phones. Nothing too remarkable, but always happy to have more devices in the collection. Sadly, this one needs a new front glass. Not sure how that LCD is holding up either. I might need to replace that. Here we have this little device on Verizon. I think it is a UT Starcom. I think. Let's see. Yes, it is a UT Starcom. Impressive. Can't believe I was able to get that battery cover on and off with one hand. This little moto. Here's her model number. I can't read that too well, but I have a couple of these. They're quite common. Entry-level track phones. But I love that rounded design. Here is a little Verizon Samsung. Have a couple of them, but one of mine has issues with the screen. So if this one doesn't work and its display is good, at least I can fix the one with the display issues. Here is this little phone on Sprint. Let's open it up. What is this? Oh, a little Sanyo on Sprint. I don't have many Sanyos, but now I have this one and this one down here. Here I have a BlackBerry, I think a BlackBerry Torch. I think. Yes, BlackBerry Torch. Says it right there on the back. Obviously needs a new front glass. I don't have a compatible battery to test this with, but once I get the battery, I'll be able to test it. HTC, I think this was the Droid Incredible. Forgive me for lacking knowledge or doing prior research on this. I just have so many phones. I've got to get them all stored, organized, and tested. This neat little Motorola Hint obviously needs a battery, but I love this design. It's not often I see a Motorola like this. And you guys can't tell on the video, this is actual metal up here, and this device feels amazing in the hand. I love the keys. I can imagine it would be quite a joy to type on that. This little Samsung slider. Let's see, what network was this on? Can't tell. I'm not seeing a SIM slot. It must be CDMA. Nice little slider nonetheless. Sorry if I sound a little bit funny. It's springtime where I'm living. There's lots of pollen. I have terrible allergies. This nice little Samsung. I like that effect. Little reflective effect here. It's an interesting design choice. Nice little flat keypad too. And one of these. I've gotten these in the past. I think this one works. Coming on down here. A Motorola. I think this is a V220. This little LG flip phone on Altel. Here is another Motorola. I love the texture on the front and the back of this thing. And I am just blanking out on all the model numbers here. I apologize for that, guys. But nice phone nonetheless. I think she needs a battery, though. Another little LG flip phone on Verizon. Business as usual with that one. This Motorola, I think it was a WX series, or maybe not WX, but I think it is WX. You guys can probably make that out. I can't really tell, but it's another one of the phones that imitated the design language of the Razr. Note the curved chin, the shape of the top up here. Motorola loved that design language, obviously, and they kept using it. They still use it today with that Razr Foldable. It's been one of the most successful designs, and here's another one like that. Here's another one of those Sanyos on Sprint. I think this is its antenna adapter. Both of them are missing their antennas, sadly. And another one of these Motos with a nice textured front and back. Now, let's move down to the lot I got from Akari. This is an HTC G1 on T-Mobile. For those who don't know, this is one of the earliest Android phones. This one does work. It's not powered on at the moment. It's trying to conserve its battery. Charges with the standard mini USB despite the funny shaped port. Same charger you would use for a Razr or an older BlackBerry. I have another one here, but sadly its display is cracked and it shows no signs of life. Here's a little BlackBerry. I think it's a BlackBerry, either the Curve or the Bold on Verizon. This is the first time I've seen a BlackBerry like this in this purple color. Now, if you guys saw my BlackBerry style on video, you will know it is purple, but this is more of a lavender. The style was a darker shade of purple. It's very unique to see a BlackBerry like this. This little entry-level Samsung track phone, nothing remarkable there. A Kyocera. I don't know what else to call this design, but BlackBerry style on Metro PCS. This form factor is just very reminiscent of the BlackBerry devices. Several other phones used it. Motorola implemented something similar with their Q series. I don't technically know what this is other than a variant of messaging phone. Don't know her model number either. But this one does work. This is an LG, I think it's a Rumor. No, it can't be the Rumor. Some kind of LG slider on Metro PCS. Again, I apologize for model numbers, guys. I cannot remember them very well today. This neat little Samsung looks like either an earlier Android or some other type of messaging phone, smartphone on Metro PCS. This cracked up Samsung. Not sure what network this is, but needs a new front glass, I would think. And a Nokia flip phone on T-Mobile. It's interesting to see these Nokia flip phones. They didn't make very many like this. Most Nokias are a candy bar style phone, as I've discussed with you all previously. Now on over to the eBay lot. Now here's where things get a little bit more interesting. Now, the phones I got in the trade are nice, especially those Samsungs with the rotating camera, the flip shot, the UT Starcom, all those wonderful Razr 2 V8s. And here we got some special ones too, like the G1 and the BlackBerry. But here is where things really get interesting. I'll start up top. This Palm device, not sure of its exact model number, but this is the first working Palm phone I have ever obtained. This will be the first one that I have in my collection that works. Now, I have an older model Palm, but it needs a battery, and probably couldn't hurt to replace the housing on it either. It's not the best looking thing, but this one is in great condition. It still has this little flap here. It's not scratched or cracked. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it even still has a screen protector. This Motorola Admiral, or Droid Admiral, I can't remember if it was a Droid per se or not, but it does run Android. Physical keyboard, nice display, and yes, it still works. Love this phone. I love those early Motorola Droids, and anything with a physical keyboard, I'm all over that. I need to try and acquire a Droid 3 and a Droid 4, but that's beside the point. But this phone is part of the reason I got this lot to begin with. I'd always wanted one of those Droid Expert or Droid Pro, and now I've got something very similar. And it was well kept, too. It's still got a screen protector on it. It's still in its case. And it works just fine. Here is a Samsung, one of those BlackBerry style phones on track phone. Nothing too fancy there, but here is an unusual specimen. A BlackBerry Bold, I think. Is Bold the one with the trackball, or is it a curve? But an earlier BlackBerry on Nextel, of all carriers. It even has the dedicated, not sure if you guys are too familiar with Nextel, but it had a function kind of like an old walkie-talkie or two-way radio. I think this button would have activated it. But I've never seen a BlackBerry on Nextel before until the day I got this lot. Definitely holding on to that one. This little Motorola on Boost Mobile. An odd design choice here with the keypad, with the odd curvature of the frame. It's a very interesting phone. Doesn't need a battery, though. And another Samsung BlackBerry type messenger phone. And not sure what carrier. Pretty sure it's another track phone though. And this Nokia. Now, I was just telling you guys that most of the time a Nokia was built like a candy bar style phone, but this is an exception. This is a Nokia with a joystick instead of a D-pad. It's got a few extra buttons and features. It's got a huge camera back here, at least for the time. And I think this had some primitive internet capabilities. It might have been kind of between the feature phones and smartphones at the time. But it does work. I need to power this on again and show some of the features. This is an interesting little phone. This little Samsung slider on AT&T. Couldn't get it to power on, but cosmetically it's in great shape. This LG chocolate should be on Verizon, but for some reason it doesn't have the Verizon logo on it. Took some design influence from the iPod with this rotating wheel that you used to navigate. I love the blue coloring of it. Nice little upward slider. This blue Samsung slider on Verizon. These were quite common back in the day. These two Samsung Seeks on Sprint. Both of them work, but this one, kind of hard to get it to slide out. This one here, though, I think this one's the better one of the two. Both of them work, but the sliders might need a little bit of attention. This LG, I think it is a Rumor Touch on Sprint. I like this keyboard, but I've always kind of liked sliders, landscape sliders with the physical keyboards. Of course, I mean, I had the Droid 2 Global as my first smartphone. Of course, they'll have a special place in my collection. And this Kyocera slider. First time I've seen something like this from Kyocera, but they're always welcome in my collection. Love these types of phones. Things you don't see every day, or things that are different from what the manufacturer normally produces. And this one, the AT&T Quickfire from UT Starcom. I have one of these, and sadly, neither of these work. Not the one I had previously, and not the one I just got. It kind of mimics the Sidekick on T-Mobile, but it's quite chunky. It's probably very durable at the time. These two older Motorola phones. I doubt the batteries on them will still work. I need to find a charger for them. This Kyocera smartphone needs a battery. Another HTC. I think it is the Droid Incredible. Not sure. This one is in great shape, but again, no battery. This one had an issue. It is an LG on Sprint, but when I plugged it in to charge it, the lower capacitive buttons just started flashing. I'm a little bit scared to attempt further testing on that. That probably has a deeper issue. This pink Motorola V3 on AT&T. This will be my first light pink one that is fully intact and functional. And here, a Motorola V3i. I have one of these, but it was probably refurbished. This one is definitely the better of the two. And if for no other reason, it is authentic. It is OEM. I can see the chin and the lower housing meet. I can't flick this upper frame here. The battery cover is intact. It doesn't feel off. The keypad is perfect. It's not overly glossy. I'll have to show you a side-by-side of these two phones, my real, authentic V3i and my refurbished one, so you guys can see the difference and know what to stay away from when you're buying flip phones and older style phones online. How to protect yourselves from buying refurbished devices. And over here, one of my favorites, the LG Envy. Looks like a slider, but no, it is a landscape flip phone. Love this form factor. I have a black one on Verizon. This will be my first red one. I think they're the same model, the same type. Their backs look the same. I do like the black one better, but color don't matter that much to me. I'm just happy to have another one of these in my collection. This form factor is not something you see every day. When most people think of a flip phone, they think of something like these razors, not something that opens out like a book, like the LG Envy. And that is all. I'm not sure exactly how many phones I have here in front of me, but it is a lot. It's going to be quite the process sorting them all out and finding a good place to put them in my collection. Sorry for the long video, and again, I apologize for my voice and for forgetting all these model numbers. I'm just very excited to take all of these in. Thank you all so much for watching. This is RetroComs, signing off.